Do you like Funkos?
Do you like Funkos?
Do you like to eat?
Do you like to eat?
Are you a geek?
Are you a geek?
Geek meets eats. Oh, it's time to pop, y'all.
Oh, geek meets eats.
We got Funko Pops up in here, handmade robots over there. We got comic books up in here, cooking up a storm over there.
Oh, geek meets eats. Oh,
Geek meets eats.
Welcome back, Xander. I haven't seen you in a really long time.
Yes.
I kind of took a little hiatus over the summer because we had so much family stuff going on, milestone birthdays and anniversaries and lots of stuff to do that required my time elsewhere. So I was adulting more than playing around on the channel, but I went live the other night and then you and I talked and it's been a while to catch up. So tell me about it, brother. I mean, I think the last time we talked in person was before you went to SDCC. I mean, I know I've talked to you on your live streams on Instagram about it, but kind of the adventure has taken a whole different twist here. So
Yes, it has. So I think the last time I talked to you, I was just about to go on vacation. And so after vacation time, which was like probably May area, everything kind of started to pick up a little bit in the sense of, okay, summer's about to come around. There's more pop-up shops. There's things that we've had scheduled months prior that are coming up. So a lot of the prepping for that was coming into play. And there was kind of like a demand for me to do more with the characters that I was, putting out there. Like I was posting a lot, these drawings and sketches. And I was trying to do a lot of like cool content with them, but I wasn't really doing anything with them. I hadn't yet developed the storylines. Even for my own comic, Z, I hadn't yet really developed the storyline. Like I hadn't started on the actual artwork for it and like got it finished and fully dialed in until after this vacation of mine, because I was very inspired. I was in Italy. I saw these statues and paintings that are like thousands of years old. And so it was just really cool to have that energy be around. And it just jumped me into the next phase. Like Buddies was the thing I think right before you went on. Yes. Cool. I love that. It's right there. Buddies was the last thing that I think we talked about and discussed on of where it was going to go and what we were going to do with it. And I kind of went away from Buddies, not because it went away. It was just more of like, I need to focus on these comic books and
hey, empty.
well, oh, sorry. So yeah, just focus on the comic books and trying to get it actually out there instead of just working. That's how I really felt. I felt like I was putting a lot of work in and there was nothing to do with it. And so I'm like, I'm tired of that. And what changed it was an event that we did called HopCon. And it was at this brewery here in San Diego called Hops Anonymous. They created a show called HopCon. Actually, a gentleman named Matt, he created the show called HopCon. He works there, and he brought me out. He wanted me to be a part of it. It was like, I want to say 3 months of, I knew about it and I knew I was going to be a part of it, but I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then when it came around, it was like this really beautiful event. Like I got to be right next to people who worked on Spawn, people who worked on Batman. Like it was crazy because he just had these legends like at this brewery, and it was only like maybe 15 of us all set up. And so it was like a very
Wow.
intimate, personal event where I got to meet Danny Miko, or he did I believe like the first 50 issues or 25 up to 50 with Greg Capallo as far as cover art, and I'm working on the inside of Spawn. So I might be saying his last name wrong, but I got to meet him, give him my Spawn artwork, and his one of the people that was set up as well. He, I guess, apparently was his mentor or something, and they were both talking to me, saying how amazing the artwork was, and I just thought, like, they were blowing smoke up my ass, because I'm like literally looking at amazing artwork, especially Spawn artwork,
Hell yeah.
and I'm like looking at this, and I have my piece, and this is amazing. Like, wow, like you got to keep going with this, da 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 da. And I just asked like some advice. How do I break into this business? Like, I'm gonna be working for Spawn like very soon. Like Todd McFarlane, I'm gonna be working with him one of these days. Like, we're gonna do legendary shit. Like, what is it that I need to do? And they kind of gave me just like really nice advice. And one of the individuals gave me like a direct how to, and he told me who to go talk to, who to reach out to, told me the name of this gentleman who's the Spawn editor. His name's Thomas Healy. It's public information, so it's nothing like I'm divulging anything. So
Right. Hey, Mama J.
And so he told me that. So I go, okay. And I reach out maybe about 2 weeks later to this individual, Thomas Healy. And I get nothing, a couple weeks go by or whatever. I don't even know how much time went by. But I started to kind of like promote my Spawn pieces again, like the ones that you guys are familiar with and stuff. So I was starting to kind of bring that up again. I'm going, you know what? Like, if I want to do the Spawn shit, I got to really work on Spawn. And so it was kind of like I posted the old piece to kind of jumpstart this new wave of energy towards comics. Because the thinking is, for me, was you want to be in comic books, but what are you doing for comics? Your artwork is comic flair. It's got this comic-esque. You love comic books. You love, this genre. You know a lot about the inspirations that made comics what they are now, the business of it too. But what are you doing for comics? And it was like, damn, just to that own realization, like, I think I need to like start really working on it. And so for me, it was like, it was kind of going away from my own character and even this character here and this character back here. It was taking a second away from that and going, okay, well, how are you going to break into the industry? How are you going to break into comics? Because the independent route, it's going to take you a long time, and it's going to be what it is. It's going to be really good. But don't get me wrong, it's going to be a lot of work, and you don't have time to do that as far as surviving. You know what I mean? You need to get, it was almost like this, like, you need to get a job, kid. And
Right.
instead of going working down the street at the Stater Brothers, you know what I mean? It was like, I told myself a long time ago, that's just not what I'm going to do. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not what I'm going to do. I'm never happy there. I'm never happy in these types of situations. And I just like, I can't imagine letting my ideas become reality. So, it was just that like do or die thing. And I posted my Spawn piece. I tagged Thomas Healy in it. And I mean, I shit you not, like minutes later, he throws fire onto it. And like for somebody that is, trying to break into comics, when you have those moments when people, you try to break into anything, but you have the moments when the people that you're reaching out to or that you want to see would be the important people to see your stuff, and they happen to do it and they happen to interact with it. A lot of times it's not your big break. It's just someone liking and seeing it. But in the beginning of that, like for people who are breaking into anything, trying to break into something, doing something of that nature, those moments are insane to you. Like we were talking about, what if McFarlane came in here during stream? Like, that'd be crazy. Like it'd be that. It's now instead of it being like this oh my god moment, it's happening. You know what I mean, type thing. So what are you gonna do with it? And that was kind of my thinking. It was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make it go further than just him liking it. I'm gonna reach it. I already reached out to him in weeks prior, and I hit him with another message that basically was the same one, and he saw it and responded, and basically, you know, kind of gave me this like nudge of confidence that like, yeah, we'll see, dude. You know, like we'll see what's going on. We'll see what you do. And that started this whole thing where it was like, okay, the Image Comics manifests. And that's kind of like, I feel like, I don't know of your perspective, but I feel like I got rejuvenated at that point time period.
Okay.
Comic is about to come around. Like it's like 2 weeks or a week coming. I know I'm going to be able to go on the inside because my friend, a mentor of mine from Bumpbox SoCal, his name is Les De Los Santos. This is an amazing individual, but he's going to give me his pass for Sunday for that weekend. And I believe Comic-Con's an all-week thing. I don't know. But I'm going to be there for that weekend. And the idea is I'm going to take the life-size statue of Z. I don't know if you were able to catch that, but my dad had spent 2 months making this life-size statue of my comic book character, Z. And I don't have him.
Grab a picture.
Oh, sorry. I don't have him on me right now because he's actually located in like a coffee shop down in San Diego.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's just chilling there right now, promoting the name. So my dad had made this and I painted it. And the idea was we're going to go take it to San Diego. We're going to go down there. Like we're going to figure out how to bring it. And we're going to figure out parking and we're going to go and just set him up and try to get content, you know, try to get video with people with him and engagement, give the opportunity to speak about this character and tell people about it. You know, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't sure if I was just going to roll it around or keep it in one spot. But the idea was to do that. And so I know I'm about to be a part of Comic-Con for the first time in my life. I never went as a kid and I never been to any sort of convention like that. So this was going to be the first time I was to be a part of it. And my dad was going to be coming with me, which was cool. I thought that was really dope because it was really full circle moments for us.
There you go. There's your full size guy.
Yes, there he is. Look at that guy. He's perfect. So that was the plan, and I end up having a whole series of events happen that like was really beautiful for that beginning of that week coming of Comic-Con. It was Comic-Con week, and I was doing the weekend. And I had a lot of cool stuff happen, but I was running around, I was working on a bunch of stuff, and then I kind of had this realization that like I can start setting up my own shows. I'm gonna start like putting up my own events and making this Xander 6 tour like really mine. Because before these first 5 shows were only events that, you know, a street fair here in San Diego, this music festival here in San Diego. Like it's not my event. I'm partaking in it. And it was just this realization of like the way that I did this last show before Comic-Con came around. It was this like really special moment where I was treated like not like a celebrity, but I was treated like the star moment, the star person in this situation. I had an individual named DJ Calv, who's Russ's tour DJ. Russ is like a mega star, singer, writer, rapper. He's his tour DJ, and we've been in contact for years. And he threw a show in San Diego specifically so that all of his artists that were on this tour, this West Coast tour, could come meet me, and we can then do business in the future.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was at like a nightclub, which was again another full circle moment because that was the first shows that I ever did 7 years ago. The first 3 years of trying to be an artist, it was always setting my stuff up at nightclubs. Like people are gonna start, are gonna go away from twerking and drinking to go buy my artwork, and I spent years doing those types of shows to realize it's not the type of show I need to do.
Right.
Swap meet or a farmer's market was better for me, even though it's away from the scene and like the cool shit. It was really cool to me to kind of like learn how to develop a store, develop a communication between me and anyone who's learning about what I'm doing. So I developed that information just throughout failing and falling a lot. You know what I mean? I just always got back up. But the full circle moment of like, I'm in a nightclub, this usually doesn't ever work. But because this gentleman is throwing this tour and it's specifically this show is for them to meet me, he made it work. Like he gave me the mic to talk about whatever it is I need to talk about. I said some inspiration. I said what I'm doing here and what I'm going to try to do and what I'm doing for Comic-Con and comic books. I made it about comic books because that was just my declaration. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. And so that gave me the idea of like, dude, I need to throw my own shows. And then Comic-Con came around and I was able to do a day early before Saturday. Saturday was supposed to be the day me and my dad go set up the character. And then that Sunday is when I'm going to go in there and meet McFarlane, go to Image booth, talk to the editor. Like this was my plan. That I didn't have it. What's it called, on the schedule. Like they didn't know I was going to come and meet them. You know what I'm saying? This was just this is what I'm going to do. This
is your goal. This is the steps I need to take to get to it.
Correct. So my friend calls me and he's like probably my dad's age, in his 50s. He's old school. You know what I mean? He comes from that old school hip hop too, especially. But he's like real hip and he's real cool, like with everybody. He's from Boombox SoCal. So like they sponsor the NFL. They're the ones with the big boom boxes that are all colorful and stuff. I'm sure you've seen them around, but he's just always like doing something. And so he's at Comic-Con. He calls me. It's Friday. I'm kind of like, just trying to get mentally prepared for everything. I'm in the middle of doing commission drawings and stuff. So I'm just in the middle of working. And he calls me and he's like, hey, so what's the plan for this weekend? And I tell him, I'm going to go Sunday because it's going to be a more chill day as far as what I'm thinking.
Right.
And he goes, oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. So then he kind of told me how to like use the trolley so I didn't have to pay for parking in downtown San Diego. It would be like $100 probably, you know what I'm saying, for downtown during the convention. He's teaching me how to do these things even though I'm an adult, you know what I mean? But it was like a moment where I was learning how to use the trolley. And I go, dude, maybe I could take the statue through the trolley. And that's when I realized after that day, I go, I'm going to take the statue through this trolley so I don't have to try to wheel him out and stuff,
Now, did you have to pay for him like he's a second person?
No, we didn't. And nobody blinked an eye. There was just like, it was just so crazy.
Hey,
But anyhow, I'm telling him I'm going to go on Sunday, and he goes, well, if you're ready today, we can go in today. And I go, I'll be down there. And so I shoot down there. And mind you, I'm not supposed to be there. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, I'm not supposed to be here today. Okay, cool. I get there. We meet up. He walks me into the building with the pass. He walks me in, he walks me in. And then he just like goes, kill it, man. Go do your thing. And like passes me on into the door. The first person I run into is Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool. I just run into him. Like, it's not even like, oh, like he's right there and I know it. And, I'm going to go see what's up with him. I'm like, this was like, I almost damn near like hit him. You know what I mean? Because I'm just moving. And I go, whoa, how's it going, sir? Like, thank you so much. And I just shook his hand. I'm like, thank you so much for your contribution, to comics and entertainment overall. Congratulations on Deadpool. Wolverine, that's going to be sick. It was just like some very common thing like that. And he was like, oh, man, thank you. Like, just real nice. You could tell he wants to be quick with everything. And I go, do you think I can give you my portfolio? And I had it as a flyer, you know, with all my artwork and my information and stuff, instead of trying to pull out my book. Even though I had my book, I had a backpack on, but I didn't want to pull it out and start doing all that. So I just gave him that, and I think he appreciated that. He was like, whoa, this is, and he like looked at it, he's like, oh, thank you. You know, and I said goodbye. So he's the one who created the Image logo, though. I'm there for Image. You know, that's the vibe. So he created the Image logo. He was the one who said Image and made it so. And I felt that's a good sign.
So let me ask you a question. Why Image? And not going into like a more mainstream Marvel and DC. I know why I love Image, but because I'm a Spawn fanatic. I mean, Spawn is my jam.
Right.
And I know he's your jam too, but why Image over trying to break into one of the bigger companies like a Marvel or a DC or something like that?
So I guess the quick answer is because Image is like the Marvel DC to me. Not that Marvel and DC isn't Marvel DC, of course. You know what I mean? That's what I have so much Marvel and DC surrounding me. But it's more of the fact that it's independent. And it's for independent artists. It's for me to be able to have my own intellectual property, my own vibe and situation to come into it, and they go, okay, cool, we'll publish it. And you get, and for me, it's like if my book doesn't have the I in that left hand upper hand corner, like it wouldn't make sense to me. That's how I feel. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't if it had the DC or the Marvel, that I wouldn't be tripping. I almost feel like that wouldn't be real though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how it goes. And so I imagine Image on my comic books. It's like it's really just because the independent route and like the story of what Image represents. You're able to really do something with your creations, and you don't have to sell it to Marvel. You're not even selling it to Marvel. If you get hired to be a creator for Marvel, that's theirs. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't know. I feel like I can do more with that for my own empire than working for Marvel DC. And again, it's not to say I would never, or I'm not even striving to. I'm trying to break into comic books.
Right. Period.
And so
Image is the place that you'd want to go because Image is where you've got like the heartstrings.
Yeah, because Image is the reason why I can break into comics in this time period now. Todd McFarlane is the reason why I can break into comic books at the level that I'm at as an artist and a individual and a business. I can make my own route within comic books. Mind you, like back to that story is I'm now outside. I'm outside with my comic book character talking to the youth of San Diego and wherever they're coming from, telling them that this is the next, biggest comic book artist. They don't know what my situation is. They don't know what level I'm at. They just know, wow, this guy really said that, really feels that. And like, I like it. You know what I mean? Like that I'm only saying it to you because they like it. They're standing in front of me going like this. Whoa, this is cool. And so for me, making myself a part of comic book history because I am just going to go and be there. So I walk into the building. Image Comics is the direction I'm going.
Before you go into that, let me just say hi to Emily. So Emily and Mike are my bosses that I work for. We're a team. And I just have to say that Emily and I have like the same like sense of humor and stuff. So we like already like know each other like well enough that we shoot memes and stuff back and forth to each other all day. Hilarious sweetheart. And totally like she brought Penelope in, their dog. I'm in love with Penelope. So here, Emily, she's sitting right here. So I'll introduce you to Fenway. This is Fenway. Say hi. So yes, they're the reason that I will be able to continue to buy comic books and all this stupid stuff that's behind me, because they gave me a job. I legit love you. I legit love you too, girl.
Beautiful.
All right.
That-
So, Image Comics, you see the booth.
Image Comics. Well, I stopped by an individual after I met Liefeld. I stopped by an individual who I knew was going to be there, who was the reason why I felt last year I should start comic books and my own toy series and everything like that. I should start moving towards that because he's an independent publisher, creator for his own book. He writes it all, does all the artwork, and he kind of gave me the conversation, my first real comic book conversation. You know, now this is the first time I'm talking to someone who does this and who goes to Comic-Con every year and does this as their job. You know, he's now giving me the conversation I need to have. That was last year in November. And so I reach out to him. I see him right there. You know, we talk a little bit and I just tell him what I'm here for. And he goes and tells me that whatever I'm looking for, I'm going to get it because I'm genuine. And I, you know, like damn near made me want to cry. And he goes, I don't know if McFarlane's here. He goes, but Image booth is right over there. And he just points. And I don't, you know, you can't see it, but he just points that direction. So I go, okay, thank you, sir. I'm on my way. So I stopped by a friend. And mind you, I'm saying that because you would think as an artist, an up-and-coming artist, oh, you should stop by all these booths and you should go to everyone in Artist Alley, talk their heads off. And it was like, no, I've you know, I'm past that part in my life, and I'm past that part in anything where I'm gonna go pretend like to have a conversation with everyone and then pretend to remember their name. I could be having a conversation with someone I like and forget their name, you know, and forget all the things that we could potentially do.
Hi, Mikey.
And so, you know, for me, it was like, okay, go straight to where you're looking for. I get there, I see the big Image, you know, big Image booth, and you see the McFarlane, you know, side of it. You see the big McFarlane, and I get there, and he's there. He just,
I'd legit pee myself.
I was tripping because it was like he wasn't like he didn't look like the normal. He had like a little beard and like a little mustache going on. And if you see like the videos and stuff beforehand, of course you see it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But kind of like, whoa, like in my mind, it was seeing the era that I'm gonna be working for him. That's the era he's in. Like his look, the vibe, what's going on in Spawn, what's about to go on in Spawn, as far as the industry of it, or the business of it, and everything else like that. I just kind of felt like, well, this is the time you got to meet like McFarlane, which is to me is like Stan Lee. I never got to even see him in person. Oh, you know, he was an old man since the beginning of my life, but he, you know, it was just always that like feeling like, dude, you're gonna, you know, like he's the reason, Stan Lee's the reason I wanted to be in the comic book business, the business, not just art, the business.
But I've legit been a Spawn fan since the comics came out. And then the movie came out, and I keep hoping that they get it together to get the new movie version out, because I that is like one of the movies that I would actually like go opening night and wait in line with everybody else to see that movie, because I have been a Spawn fan. Spawn is why I got into comics. It sounds weird because I'm a girl, you know, like why aren't you into like My Little Pony? And I'm also into Wonder Woman, you know, but I have Back to the Future stuff, and I have all my Mandalorian. Like I have gotten my hands on almost every single copy of Mandalorian #1 that I could.
Right.
And then, you know, I've been continuing on, but Spawn is what got me into comics.
It's like it's really a really awesome comic book, and like that's the thing about with it. I'm not easily to be strayed away from what I really like. I love Batman and Spider-Man. Those are my two favorites of all time. But when Spawn came around into my life at the time it did, it was like, this is my new shit. This is my shit right here. So I just started going ham with it, with collecting Spawn when I was able to. Like once it was like, oh, like, you know, because the thing about his stuff is that there's still like some of the cheapest comic books to grab. You know, if you could just easily get an issue, you know. It's nice when all the other books are like damn near $5, too expensive, or it's got Alex Ross's artwork on the cover. That's fire.
With Wonder Woman and Spawn. I mean,
Oh, the Batman variants. Oh,
yeah.
love it. I love it. And so, sometimes you get like a comic book where it's Alex Ross's cover, it's super beautiful. And then you get on the inside and the artwork is shit. And like, what the hell? And so with Spawn, always a guarantee that the cover and the inside is going to be fire. And then
For real one, My Little Pony got nothing on you. Have you gotten into this one yet?
Scorched, I'm trying to. I'm just trying to collect it so that I can start, really putting the story together. But right now, I'm only getting issues that are like part from each other because that's just the way I'm finding
Yeah,
it.
see, this is the only one I have, and this is 17. So now I got to go back to number 1 and get that so I can read it.
Right, and that's kind of what happened. Was like I think, a number in the 17s of the teens. I have that one. I love that one.
Yeah, big shout out to Teresa Newell. She finds all like the good books that I don't have and sends them my way.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. So anyhow, I'll try to make it a shorter story because I ramble on. But Comic-Con, he's right there. I see him. I'm like, I could damn near be like, hey Todd, and I have my artwork out and just be like, hey man, like I could do that, but I can't really because he's like surrounded by people who like love him. You could tell people are just like looking up at him, type thing. And he's kind of pressed up against the wall type thing. And I see this line though. And I think the line is, I was thinking that the line was to go meet him. I don't know how Comic-Con works. I don't know how any of this works. I'm there for free. I have no money in my pocket. I got nothing.
Right.
So I'm in there on some magical shit, as I like to say. And I get in that line and I have my artwork out. Oh no, actually the first thing I did was I tried to go just walk up to him because it was like I could just see the pathway right to him. It was not like, there was nothing in the way. And so I started walking right up to him and I'm thinking about this is about to be the moment. And then some very petite woman came out of nowhere and like kind of like almost like put her hand on my chest and was like, oh, sorry, like this is the end of the line. And I like paused and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I just, I figured he's just right there, you know what I mean? And she was like, oh yeah, no, like if you wanted to get, if you wanted to get like a product or whatever, you can probably meet him after that. And I go, oh, okay, cool. Well, my whole thing is I'm here to like get a job here. Like I want to work for this comic book, for this man, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think I could pass you my artwork? And she goes, of course. And I thought that was like very crazy because she just was like, oh yeah, of course. Like grabbed it. It was one piece, but I had 2 pieces. And for some reason I didn't give her 2 pieces, but it ended up working out. And I go back into the line because I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll just, maybe I'll meet him. And then someone comes out of the line, or someone that works there comes out of the line and is like yelling, this line for a meet and greet. This line is to buy product. It's just a byproduct. He is not doing any meet and greets. The signing is in 3 hours, right? And so it was just kind of like, oh, well, that kind of interrupts what I thought was about to happen because I can't even buy products, so there's nothing to do there other than be in the line and kind of be around there. I got nothing to do. I don't even really want to walk around, and so I'm like in the line. I forget the gentleman's name, but some of the customers, like the Spawn customers, were, thanking this guy on the side of us, like, thank you for putting all this on. Like, you guys did a really good job with the booth and da-da-da-da. And, mind you, Image's booth looks like a building. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so it's not just some rinky dink. And so I go, hey, man, like, I kind of overheard, like, I don't know if, if you work here. And he goes, well, I'm one of the publishers and one of the editors, you know what I'm saying, for Image. And I go, oh, okay, well, like, I'm trying to get a job here. You know what I mean? And he kind of like, huh, like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Type thing. Yeah. And I go, like, I want to, be an artist for Spawn, for for anything on Image, and eventually put my own books out. And he kind of like did the like okay kid, like like sound. It wasn't really like he didn't say anything. He just kind of made like the okay, type thing. And he goes, well, do you have like your artwork? And I go, yeah, I do actually. And I fucking I open my artwork, and he goes, can I touch that? And I go, sure. And he picks it up and like really looks at it, and he's like, this is really good. And I go, thank you. He goes, you're gonna give that to Todd? And I go, hopefully, hopefully I can. Can I give you my portfolio? And I gave him my card. And it was a cool conversation, because in the middle of that conversation, all the Spawn fans around me are going, dude, that's your artwork? Oh, what? You're gonna try to get a job here? And so like people started like talking, like a lot, like really nicely about everything, and they were kind of telling saying out loud the things that I want to happen. Like, oh, dude, I can't wait till you're, you got your own booth, and I'm coming to your booth, and you could sign my comic. Like, I'm gonna be first in line, like that type of stuff, which it was just really wild, because it doesn't necessarily just happen like that. People being like that, but this Comic-Con, the vibe of Comic-Con and these conventions, it's way more open than I'm used to, because swap meets, street fairs, pop-up shops, not that there isn't awesome people out there. I met all the awesomest people out there, but it was kind of like I had to break in, that, and like break down doors, break walls down. Like, hey, like you don't have to be the cool guy here. Like, let me show you how you don't have to be the cool guy here. I look like this, but I'm gonna make it seem like I'm just a friendly artist guy. Like, you don't have to be scared of me. I don't think I'm sick. I don't think I'm tough. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. So a lot of times you have to break people's walls down when you're out and about, where here people are fans of this shit. They want to experience it to the highest degree. They want to have fun. They want to feel safe. So it was like they were like, dude, if you start a Kickstarter, I would totally support something like that. I'm like, what's a Kickstarter? Because I'm
what's a Kickstarter?
I don't even know. And this kid literally teaches me what a Kickstarter is. And he's like, dude, if you had one, like, I would support it. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm kind of just getting all these good signs while I'm there. And we're getting closer and closer. And I get up to the area, and I'm about to buy something that I can't buy because I know I have no money. And I go through the motions of acting like I'm gonna actually purchase this thing that I picked out that I can't buy. And what was funny about it was I picked the cheapest thing, even though I had no money, like as if like I was really doing something. Like, it was so stupid. I was like, I picked the cheapest thing on the thing, even though I had $0. So I could have picked the most expensive thing. I don't know why I think about that, but it's funny to me. Card declines. Okay, cool. Let me just go. I'm $1 short. Let me just go, switch the bank account to this. And okay, cool. I get to back to the line. The line's ended. They cut off the line.
Oh no.
They cut off the line. And
No.
I'm like, oh man, and I kind of accepted defeat right there. I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad. I was like, oh damn, like that sucks, and the girl that cut off the line, she kind of stood there for a minute, and she overheard me talking to one of the guys, and I go, dude, I literally I needed to like make $1. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still lying. I'm lying because I have $0. In that moment, I get a Cash App from a guy from a mall that has my artwork there. I sold something that day.
Like God winks moment right there.
Hello. So I get this Cash App, literally makes the cha-ching sound. I'm going, what? Okay. It put me up $40. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, well, but I still can't get in line. And the girl goes, she left and then came back around. She came back around and she goes, like, almost like running. And she goes, you're good. And like opens up the thing. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Because I was just talking to the guy that was in line. He wanted me to win. He was like, dude, I see your artwork. Like, I'm excited for you, because there was a lot of people that were around me that just like happened to see what I was doing, because I wasn't afraid to talk to anybody. And mind you, when I was originally in line, I went to talk to that woman who initially told me you can't be here. It happens to be his assistant, Todd McFarlane's assistant. So I asked her a question when I was in line initially. I go, hey, like logistically, how do you run something like this? How do you run a talent like Todd McFarlane to get him here to do his booth, but also to go to CGC, also to go to da da da? Like, how do you do that logistically? And she goes, that's a loaded question, my guy. Like type thing, like that's a lot, dude. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? But it was like she was nice and just thought it was interesting, I think, in a way that I would even ask that, because I was telling her, like, me and my wife, this is what we do. You know, we do pop-ups, and I'm trying to do conventions. I'm trying to get out of the street, dude. You know, like that's why I was telling her. And line, I had already started that dialogue with her, and when I get in there, I'm almost there, and a friend of mine just pops up on the side of me, like kind of behind on the side of me. He goes, "What's up?" And I like turn around, I'm like, "Oh, how's it going, man?" This guy resells toys and stuff, and he's the only person I know who can buy a toy and sell it the moment he bought it for the price that he wants to sell it at. It's weird. He can like really do that shit. So, I you know, he's right there. He goes, "Do me a favor, dude. Buy me one of the comic books, one of the signed comic books." And I go, "Okay, cool." They doing a special Comic-Con, you know, exclusive for the comic. Puppeteer was the artist for the image of it, and it was a homage to issue number 1. Actually, I have it right here.
So here, I'll pick up number 1, so we'll put them side by side.
Exactly. Boom. So that was the comic that I was gonna pick up, and I go, you know what, I might as well get myself a copy. And so I get myself a copy, I get him a copy, and I realized like, oh, this isn't signed. All the other products are signed. And I go, oh, this isn't signed. Damn. And so I asked as I'm passing by, and mind you, Todd McFarlane is right there the entire time, sitting at a chair. He's just sitting, talking to the artists that are coming by. He's talking to the editor. He's just there, but they kind of have him blocked off, but he's right there. And so when you buy the product, you're exiting and you're just passing by Todd McFarlane. So if you don't say hello or something like of that nature, you're not going to talk to him. You know what I mean? But he happened to just be talking to fans, and it looked like lifelong fans, like people that come every year to say what's up to Todd. So he looked like he was having that type of relationship with those individuals from afar. So I just didn't think that I was going to go say hi to him, you know, because I didn't want to interrupt on that conversation. It looked like personal. And so as I'm leaving, I asked his assistant, I go, hey, is it signed on the inside of the comic book, or do I have to go get it signed? Because isn't it usually on the cover? And she goes, oh yeah, those are the only ones that aren't signed. But we can get it signed for you. And I go, okay, is that something you have to have a wristband for? She goes, yeah. And I go, like I said, I got nothing. She goes, oh no, like you're good. Just come around, you're good. And then like another lady, I don't know who's what her position was, but she was kind of dressed in a similar fashion as the woman in front of me, who was very business casual, you know, like professional. She comes out of nowhere and she goes, "Oh yeah, for you, honey, we're good." And I'm wondering, what do you mean for you? I don't know who I am to you guys. You know?
Right.
And so maybe I'm just thinking, I don't know, it was just weird to me, you know. And so maybe I'm thinking, as I'm going out, I'm going, why did she say that?
Again, I would have peed my pants.
Right. And I'm going, maybe I'm louder than I think I am, because I'm just having these conversations, you know, and I don't care who's around me. And that's when I realized, oh, everyone's watching, you know, like people here are watching. They're watching me like try to get this job. They're watching me have these conversations. And there was a guy that was watching. That's how I realized. So I get the okay, almost, yeah, exactly, pee my pants. The signing is in an hour. So I'm like, damn, dude, I'm just going to wait around here. And so my friend is here now. And we're just talking, whatever. And I go, and then they start the line for the signing pretty early. And I go, okay, cool. So we get into the line. This guy that's in front of me, he's in line, and he looks at me, and he kind of keeps looking at me. And he looks military. He looks like very military-esque. And I'm like noticing, I'm like, okay, like, you know, this guy keeps staring at me or whatever. And then he just asked me, he goes, hey, man, are we supposed to have a wristband for this? And I go, yeah. And he goes, do you have a wristband? And I go, no. He's like, neither do I. And I go, oh, okay. And I'm just trying to like keep it minimal conversation because I don't know,
Right.
you know, I don't want to use this this as leeway to like go like, yo, I'm fucking, you know what I mean? I'm that guy, you know, whatever. I got special treatment or something. And so I'm trying to keep it cool. And he's like, well, you're keeping it pretty cool, man. I'm gonna keep it cool with you. Is that cool? And I'm like, all right. And then my friend goes, hey, man, I'm going to leave. I'm going to get out of here. I'm just going to walk around real quick, okay? I'll come back. I'm like, all right, cool. So now my friend isn't there with me with no wristband either. He has no wristband either. So he's gone. But now I got this guy who's kind of like attaching himself to me in a way. But it ended up being like almost instantaneously cool moment because he was a cool guy.
Right.
He was open, you know, we were just talking, we're just shooting the shit. And he's like, hey man, like, how come you're so confident about this? And I'm like, well, I got the okay from, you know, now I'm telling him, I'm like, I got the okay from, you know, from the woman there, you know, his assistant, like, you know, I know her. And he's just like, oh, okay. And he's like, do you mind if if I tag along? And I go, sure. Like, cause I can't do anything at this point. You know, like I can't say no, because then what if he's just like, dude, this guy doesn't have a wristband or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just in that position. This is a stranger. I have no idea what's about to happen. And I'm starting to get a little nervous because he's starting to get nervous. And that's why he was asking all these questions, because he wants to be there. I don't know why, but he wants to be there. He doesn't even really know McFarland like that. And he starts getting nervous. He's like, I'm going to look over here, da-da-da. And then he starts telling me about how he was in the military, da da da. And I go, oh, this is why you're scouting the area, bro. Like, you're doing recall. And he's like, yes, exactly. And I go, okay, well, relax. You know, we're good. And I go, you're my brother. So now I got my fake brother with me. And we have this agreement that everything's gonna be fine. I get in there. I'm getting close to getting on the inside of the line. We're on the outside, kind of where everyone else is walking, but we're lined up very tightly on this like rope or something. And this guy in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt comes around. And mind you, I'm very like, you know, if someone looks at me in the eyes, hey.
Wait, watch.
Oh, that's my favorite one too, right there.
Raphael. Yeah, but you see it's signed.
Oh shit! Oh, Eastman.
Yeah.
I have an Eastman story too from this, but he comes out of nowhere. So I'm thinking he's just a regular guy here at Comic-Con, and he's in this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt, and so I smile at him because he's walking around. He kind of has like a mean face, so I smile because it's kind of, I get nervous when people just walk around with mean mugs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, here you go. Here's kindness. And he doesn't break. And he kind of keeps his eye on me. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And then 2 minutes later, he's walking around yelling. And it sounds like in people's ears. He's yelling, if you don't have a bracelet, get out of line. And I don't have a bracelet. And mind you, nobody's getting out of line because everyone's got a bracelet. There's nobody trying to sneak here. So I'm getting kind of nervous. Even though I got the okay, they're way over there, the people that said the okay. So I don't want to make a scene. So let's just not get caught. So I get on the inside of the line. We're cool. We get there.
I suppose you had a t-shirt on, so you didn't even have a sleeve that you could cover up your wrist with.
I had a long sleeve shirt. It was thin as hell, and my backpack was a Doc Martin leather backpack, so my back was drenched in sweat. And so I was so uncomfortable because I had this real thin shirt on that I didn't feel too comfortable in. It was almost like a pajama shirt, and I forgot to grab the regular shirt it was a mistake that day. So I was very uncomfortable that whole entire time. I was sweaty. I was in a shirt that material that I don't like, and I'm in jeans. And so it was just a bad, yeah, I don't know how all this good stuff was happening as me not feeling good. And so I get,
When it happens, it's like when you least expect it. And I know they're still watching, but it was kind of like the thing. Like I had talked to Michael, and then it was kind of like it was supposed to be something that wasn't going to be for several weeks, and then something snapped, and it became available, and it was like, but it's the same thing. It's like something snapped, you got to go. It's like you don't worry about all the little things. You're like, I got something. You got point A to point B. Let's get to B.
Exactly. And so those things are the exact reason why you shouldn't be a slave to your own anxiety and like the other part of you that's being not good to you, like, because those things are happening at the same moments really good things are happening in your life. And so it was just, it was like a whole bunch of like really powerful stuff. And so as I'm getting into the line, I'm getting closer to just getting my stuff signed. At this point, we're good. We feel good about it. But then this gentleman out of nowhere goes, and I thought he asked me a question because he looked at me after I heard him speak. But he asked the guy that was supposed to be my fake brother. He asked the guy, I see that you only have one book. We can only get 2 books there. Do you think I can give you this number 300? It was his Spawn 300 with it looking like the Spider-Man from back in the day. So it was like a good issue, the good one. And so he's about to hand them to this guy, and I just kind of like, I put my hand on, like I kind of just like silently was like, no, because like you could still see us if from the outside of it. So the guy could just be like, dude, do you have a wristband? So I'm just like, no, like, hey, dude, no, we're good. I don't know what was about to happen. I didn't actually hear what he asked. And I kind of just like, as like a jerk, was just like, no, dude, no, seriously. And he kind of like, he kind of like was like, oh, like, why not? Like, kind of got real quiet, and I felt like an asshole. And mind you, he's an older gentleman. He's probably about older than my dad. You know what I mean? So,
but don't take advantage of a good thing that's going on either. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm, I don't have a wristband. I'm going up here at no cost. So here, let me help you get something. I mean, you don't want to take advantage of people like showing their kindness.
Exactly. And so there was a part of that but because I felt bad because his reaction was like, whoa, dude, like, I didn't mean to, because I didn't explain anything. I just was very cryptic. I didn't want him to know that we didn't have a wristband, and so I felt really mean. And I just was like, I'm sorry, man. What did you say? Because I didn't even hear what you said. Now that I'm out of this, like quick mode, I was trying to be cool and sly. Now that I'm out of that mode, I'm realizing I didn't even hear what you asked. And then so he asked, he told me what he asked, and I go, that's up to him, dude. Because I'm getting 2 books already signed, so that he wasn't asking me. And I go, hey man, I'm very sorry for interrupting on what you were asking him. My apologies. I feel bad. And he goes, no, it's okay. And I'm all right, cool. So then we get closer. Now we're getting closer and closer, and the guy goes, oh, you don't have a wristband. He's like looking at me, the guy who asked me, he goes, you don't have a wristband, huh? And I go, yeah, I don't. And he goes, oh, that's why you were acting like that. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, all right, yeah, shh. You know what I mean? Like, hush up. And it ended up being cool. I get there. I get up to the area where he's signing the books. What I had noticed was he signs the 2 books, and then he looks up and he says, thank you, or he looks up, what kind of waits for, a reaction or whatever. I think he says, thank you. And I was like, okay, that's, you know, there's a moment there. So I'm seeing that. I get up there and he doesn't sign the 2 books immediately, which I thought was odd because I had paid attention. He was doing that every time. 2 books, look up, possible shake, possible fist bump, and then they leave in seconds. And he looks up at me right when I get there. He doesn't sign the books yet. Looks up at me and goes, "What's your name?" And I was like, "I'm Xander. I'm going to be working for you very soon." And he goes, in his voice, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it got me very excited as far as just, you know, just being in front of a legend. And he goes, "What are you going to do for me?" And I go, I can pencil, I can ink, I can do all that traditionally and digitally. But really, I'm going to change the way comic books are viewed and felt in the industry. I'm gonna you know, change the way they're looked at in comic book stores. And as I'm saying that, he goes, "I like that." And then the guy next to me, who's my fake brother, he passes me the flyer. I had no more on me. He passes me the flyer I gave him, and I just like grabbed it because I didn't even look. I just grabbed it, and he whispers, he's like, "That's your information." And so I just went like this, and I go, "This is my information." Like, it looks smooth. And I go, and I had to let him know, like, my wife, she's the next Michelangelo, like, because her work is on there too. And he goes, "I like that." And then he looks at the flyer for a little while, like a good 3-4 seconds, which felt like a billion years.
Yeah.
Felt good. I'm like, "Yeah, bro, really take that flyer in," you know? as stupid as that sounds. And then he puts the flyer away, and then he looks up at me, and he shoots his finger like this, straight into my face. Like from the outside, it looks like he's saying, "Fuck off, get out of here." Like, that's what it looked like. But he points right into my face, and he goes, "You might just be the next one." And I go, "I am the next one." And it was just this moment, you know what I mean? And it was like, I got my comic books, I left, I walked out, and my friend was like, "Dude, that was so cool. What did he point at you for?" And I go, he literally was just like, "Dude, you might be the next one." And I told him I am, you know, and he goes, "I got all that on camera." He doesn't even tell me that at the beginning. He's like, "All that on video." I go, like, I did not, you know, I wasn't expecting it. All this stuff was all God Wink moments. Like, the whole entire thing was that. And sorry, because, you know, it was supposed to be a long story short, but it always ends up being long because it was like all these things that happened like before it happened. It was amazing. And then, mind you, I'm leaving. I see this. He tells me that he got the video right behind me. As I go, "Send that to me." I go, "Send that video to me." Right behind me is Thomas Healy, the editor for Spawn. And so I go, "Thomas." And he looks at me, and he goes, "Oh, hey, man." Again, as if he knows me. And I'm like, maybe, you know, maybe it's just one of those, you know, like, "Oh, you're going to be kind to anybody who says your name." I go, "Hey, man, I don't know if you know me. I don't know if you know my work, whatever." And he goes, "No, I know who you are." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? Like, because again, I was doing the Spawn artwork beforehand. I did some cool ass Spawn pieces and stuff. And so I know he's aware of it. He's, you know, interacting with it, but I didn't know he knew me. And I was like, "Well, hey, man, like, this is the deal. Like, I'm trying to work here. This is the comic that I belong in. This is the company I belong in. Everything else to me is secondary, and honestly, like, this is my destiny." And I just told him that, you know what I mean? And I go, "I'm not trying to be here for the fame, bro. I'm not trying to be here for a moment. I'm trying to do the inside of these books. I'm trying to be a part of this." And he goes, "Hey, man, I want to hear everything you have to say." He's like, "Let's schedule a meeting Saturday." And I just said yes. I go, "Sure," even though I know I won't be able to go in on Saturday. I only got the one pass for the one day, technically. That's what I'm thinking. And I go, sure. He goes, you get here in the morning. No one's really going to be around. I'll have like an hour or two to talk to you. And I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Like that. So that was the cherry on top of the end of that moment. You know, I kind of stayed around the area. My friend walked me throughout some of the stuff. He kind of showed me some things that I thought was important for when I'm a part of Comic-Con, when I show up with my, you know, army of artists and army of creatives to build an experience. I'm going to be there, you know, implementing all these things that I'm seeing. So that was cool for that walk around. But then I was kind of done. Like I didn't want to spend too much time at Comic-Con. Like I just wasn't in it for that, you know?
Right.
And I don't know if it was because I'm not into it like that, or if it's because I'm not in a position in my life to enjoy shit right now. I'm hungry right now. I'm trying to figure out how to make it, you know what I'm saying? And the next day I went with my dad. We put Z on the trolley, got him all the way down there, and we had this really amazing experience. My dad was breakdancing, and just the fact that he made it, was there. This is the first time where we've been at Comic-Con together, and he got to meet the editor for Spawn that morning, because right when we got there, it was early in the morning, probably like 7:30. Thomas was walking with his coffee, and I go, "Hey, sir," and he goes, "Oh, hey, man," and he goes, "We're good for today," and I go, "No, bro, I can't because I'm out here today. Do you think we could do tomorrow?" Again, this is a day that I'm just throwing out there. I can't get in there. I can't get it. I go tomorrow, and he goes, "Oh, tomorrow's perfect." And I'm like, "Cool." He goes, "Is this your character? What is this?" And I go, "Yeah, this is my guy right here. This is Z. He's actually an artist himself." He's like, "That's so cool, dude." And I introduced him to my dad. So it was like this really cool moment where, yeah, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it felt right. And so I had this really cool experience that Saturday. We worked about like 8 to 10 hours outside. And Z was really well received, and I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of footage. And then I worked from the moment that I got home that Saturday, when we were staying at my wife's parents' house, taking care of their house, which is in San Diego. And the entire time I'm there, I'm trying to figure out how I can get back to San Diego Comic-Con tomorrow on Sunday.
Okay.
So I just reached out to everybody. I I can, and it ends up being my wife's brother happens to be at Comic-Con that day, that we were there. I just didn't see him. He was with his friends and stuff, and he has a pass. He's not gonna go tomorrow. And so I'm like, I coordinate with him, and it, you know, it was random to me because I didn't even know he was going, and also I don't, you know, I'm not as you know, we don't really have too much communication other than when we see each other at each other's houses and stuff for family events and whatnot. So, you know, I just wasn't really in a position to really ask him, other than the fact that he's my you know, a brother-in-law. And so he comes through. He's just like, "Yeah, dude, of course." Da 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 da. Like, he just totally gave it to me. I was just like, "Wow, okay, cool." So, you know, it was just a good moment for that. It was a good moment just to realize, like, oh, I could actually reach out to some of the people that I see. You know, I mean, like, I'm just so bad with that, where people will reach out to me and say, "Hey, like, ask me for this," or, you know, don't be afraid to ask me for something like this. And I just don't, because I've never been the type of person to take it. And so I'm good for that morning. I get there at 6:30 in the morning. This is like 2 hours before the doors even open, maybe even 3 hours before the doors open. And I'm starting to feel sick to my stomach, because this is really about to happen. And it's early, no one's there, and it's about 8 o'clock now. And I'm kind of pacing back and forth in the street, like, of like the area of where the convention is. I'm not at the convention quite. I'm in front of it where all the businesses are. And so I'm just kind of pacing, just like thinking. And No one's there, and I'm about to go across the street to get to the convention at this point. And there's a homeless guy right behind me. And I look at him and he like looks at me and I just nod to him I'm like, have a good day, bro. And he was like, thanks, man. And I turn around and boom, Kevin Eastman's right there. I'm talking about no one's in the street. There's nobody outside. It's just me and Kevin and this homeless gentleman. And I just and I
pee my pants?
he's,
I mean, we're working on like a whole bag of Depends right now, Xander. That's what I'm working on right now.
yeah. Yeah. So he's walking towards me. He's like literally walking to me, and I go, "Hey, sir," and he like looks up. And he's like, "Yeah," and I go, "Thank you for your contribution, man. Appreciate you." And I just took my hand out and shook his hand, and he like shook my hand and like looked at me in the face, and then but we were shaking hands for longer than it was normal, because he was like almost like, "What do you like? You know, like who are you?"
Right.
I didn't go, "Kevin Eastman, I grew up on Ninja Turtles. Da 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 da. Can I get a picture?" Like, I didn't do that. It was so early in the morning. He's about to go get his coffee, I'm sure. I'm about to shit my pants because I'm so nervous. So it was one of those moments where I didn't have very many words. And I was just like, "Thank you for your contribution, man." You know, and I go, "Best of luck to you. Congratulations on the new movie. I haven't seen it yet." And he was like, "Thank you." And as he was going away, he literally double taked 3 times behind him. And because I was, I was looking at him like, I was making sure this is real. This is really going on. And he really like turned around 3 times to be like, who was that guy? And it just felt like one of those moments where it connected me to the fact that like I am going to be something within this, and I'm just here early, but
Right.
future. And so I'm like, I didn't get paid at all again. I didn't make any money this week, really. The whole entire week I was broke. This like moment where it was like, yeah, dude, you're really about to be here. And so I got up there, and mind you, now people are starting to walk around. There's a lot of people starting to line up. And I'm looking for the editor of Spawn. I'm looking to meet him. That's why I got there so early. I wanted to just meet up with him like I did the day before when he saw me there. And I couldn't find him. And I just was like, damn, dude, I don't want to get in this big ass line, but I'm going to probably have to. And so I kind of started getting a little nervous again. And I just kind of was like, hey, like, to the universe. I was like, man, universe, show me like something. Give me a sign of that. Like everything's going to be okay. And boom, the moment I asked for that, boom, the dude ends up, his name's Aaron. That guy who asked my fake brother the 2 days prior to get this signed by McFarlane, he shows up. He goes, "Hey, man, what are you doing here, man?" And I tell him what I'm here for. He's like, "Oh my God, that's so crazy." And and like he just started going off, like how awesome it was. And I just like, "Dude, did you get your comic back? Did you make sure that guy gave you your comic?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he was cool." It was just a cool little conversation real quick. And mind you, I saw him the day before. He took a picture with my character. It was real quick. And now we're talking here, and I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, I have some Spawn artwork, in my backpack. Like, let me give you this to you. And he was like, "Oh my God, like, are you serious?" And I go, "Yeah, like, let me do this." He's like, and as I'm doing it, he's like just telling me like how I'm gonna get the job and how I'm gonna be an image artist, and like he's just telling me these things. And he goes, "Dude, please sign it for me." And then I was like, that was the moment when I was like, "Do you mind if I capture some of it on camera? Because no one else is gonna shoot my documentary. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be the only one." So I have to like I place it in a place because just so that I could capture the raw moment. And I'm so nervous, he goes, "Date it," and then put SDCC. And I go, "Okay, cool." And then I forget what the word, the SDCC, I forget what the pair up was. And I go, SDCC, like, what is that? Like, you know, and he's like, that's Comic-Con. And I go, oh my God. And it was just like this real honest moment where was like, I didn't even know, you know, what SDCC was because I'm just not there yet, you know, but I'm
Right.
here. And so we had this whole moment and it was really cool. He had some strangers take a picture of us and stuff. And then at the end of it, he just like almost damn near with tears in his eyes. At least I'm about to fucking tear up. He's like, man, he goes like I told you the other day, I submitted one thing of my portfolio to Marvel, and they sent me back one letter, and I gave up from that moment. He goes, when I heard how many Todd McFarlane sent out, and then you know his story from that moment, he goes, what you're doing is my dream. He's like, so I support you with all of it. You know what I mean? It was just a really honest, like, beautiful moment. And really, it just made me fucking tear up because it was just like, yeah, like, I really am going to do this. And I'm not putting together how inspiring that this can be for people around it. You know, because again, I'm not doing things quietly. I'm just not noticing what's around me. So I realized like the impact I had this weekend on people, even if it was just
Unintentional
or a blimp of a fucking second. And after that moment, though, I did that, I signed it. I realized, like, dude, I just signed some Spawn artwork. I'm about to go to talk to the Spawn editor. Like, you know, like, just the fact that I am even here prepared to this level is beautiful. So then I felt good. And I mind you, this long line where they only opened up like 2 doors, they just happened to open up all the doors right in front of me. And then everyone was allowed to just walk in. And so I walked in without having to go on this line. It was awesome. I get there. There's a gentleman already having a meeting with him. He's a writer. I end up connecting with that gentleman as well. He gave me some awesome advice too. But just I had my meeting. It was like a good hour. And he really just went down the list of how they want Spawn portrayed, how they want him drawn. He picked apart my artwork to showcase that this is the exact opposite of what we're looking for as far as style and how we want him portrayed. He needs to be more menacing. He's like, you showed his entire anatomy right here. So you should never see all of Spawn. You should never see him naked. You know, and it was just like, so he was saying my artwork is amazing. He was saying it's awesome. Your anatomy is great. Your line work is awesome. Your inking is dope.
but that's not what we're looking for in particular. Your style is not Image's style.
Yes. Spawn style at least. And then he pulls out the new cover for Spawn Kills All the Spawns. And I have Spawn kills everybody, you know, at San Diego Comic-Con. He literally kills all the people at San Diego Comic-Con. And it's a little cutesy version of Spawn, like a little, like, almost like a Handmade Robots type of version. And he pulls out that cover and he goes, but man, like, just understand, there's a place for that stuff here. He goes, it's not all the time. He's like, be in the right spot at the right moment, put in the right amount of work to show us what you can do. He's like, things happen all the time. And he really like solidified in that you're not going to get the job right now. Don't worry about it though. You're good and we see you. And this is, in a way, no one does it like this. I'm 26 years old. I'm not in the industry or in the comic book business in that way. And I somehow got myself a job interview with the Spawn editor, the only comic book I'm really even looking to work for at the moment, other than my own. So it was like this realization, like, dude, like, I know he said basically no without saying no, but he gave you an hour of his time. He told you what they're looking for directly. He also told you, go to this artist, Jason Sean Alexander. Go to that artist. He's the storyboard god. He is the guy who can tell a story from all angles and all perspective and make amazing comic books. I went over to that guy. I told him that I just got from a meeting. This is what he directed me to do. That opened up the whole him, basically saying like, yeah, dude, I'll take a look at your work, and you could send me pages, like send me the pages before you send it to the editor so that I could give you notes. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of in the business without being in it yet. I'm kind of like way closer than I ever was without even at all having a job in it.
So are you saying that they gave you like the opportunities to like, this is what we want you to do. We want you to go back and draw a couple of pages and then show us what you got.
Yes. So he gave
Shut
me
up.
an assignment. I asked for an assignment. I said, hey, man, look, I know I'm not getting the job right now, but I'm not going to let this go. Okay. What do I need to do? Give me an assignment. Tell me what I need to do. He told me, redraw already done pages, but in your perspective, in your style, make it totally different, but it's the same page as an old issue from back in the day. And so I've been working on pages. I refuse to just send them one email of one picture. I want to have a Spawn portfolio. And so that's what a part of these pieces are, like some of the ones that I've been posting lately. I'm doing one-off, drawings, because right now I am studying every artist that existed in Spawn, because I have all the issues, I guess, in a way, because of the big thick books and stuff. So I'm studying all the artists, and I'm taking time to apply it to my artwork and my things that I'm doing right here, like these characters and stuff.
I was gonna segue to that. So like you're doing the stuff with McFarlane, and I know you tagged him earlier and everything else, but talk about these pieces. So what are these for? The characters, the statues that you're creating, what are those for, and what is going on October 28th?
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So these pieces are parts of characters that I'm developing with other artists and other creatives. This one is based off of an individual named Steve Muels, from House of Muels, and Muels is his last name. And so I designed a character around his logo. It didn't look like this. It was really just the circle of the head with no hair, and it had the X's for eyes. And it had this real cool like mouth with gold teeth, here and there in it. And so this is some of the designs that I've worked on in the early steps of it. And so I designed the character around that logo that he created. So we co-created the character. The character is based around him. I just turned his logo into him. This is his hairstyle, which, let me just shine that up there. This is his hairstyle. This is his beard, so if you see him, next to it, you're going to go, oh, that's based around you.
And there is art on your Instagram where you do have kind of him, like it's almost like it was either superimposed or you show both the artwork and the original person. Now,
yeah,
he's cool with you like making a likeness of him and using his logo?
Yes, because I'm working with him.
Okay.
And the thing is about that is when I say I'm turning artists into superheroes, if I was really doing that without like getting the permission or the okay from other people, I would have like hundreds of characters, but they would all be, nothing really to do with them. And that's not what I want to do, because I don't want to pull from people and from what they do and be inspired so much to the point that I create a whole character around them and they're not a part of it. I think that I've seen that a lot in things where it's not really talked about, but it's kind of like, I wouldn't like that if that was me. If I see a character from a guy that I met in real life and he pulled and he said, dude, this is all based around you, and this thing is just awesome and everyone loves it, but they don't know you. They don't know that it's part of you. It's literally your story. I think that would be really weird, and I just would hate that. So for me, I didn't even pull the trigger with this, with actually going further into it, because I designed this character as like a little cartoon. That was my first little sample piece, and then the reaction from him was really amazing. And mind you, this gentleman works with legends in the music industry. He's a videographer, so he's actually an artist himself. He does video, and he also coordinates these rap ciphers, these music ciphers. And last year, he got the record for the biggest New York cipher in hip hop history. So he's like an innovator, a visionary himself. And so I'm not just working with just artists that I meet out there in the world. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of dope people, but he's someone that I felt would understand where I'm coming from with this, because this would only work if we are visionaries. So me being a visionary working behind his movements, it allows me to tell his story through comics. And so that's what I'm doing with this. So the beautiful part about this character and what's going on with this character in general is the story is telling itself, it's writing itself by actual reality of what he's doing in real life. So basically, he's telling the story. He has to write it. Yes, that I love it. I love that, the top one up there especially. So that's the essence of what I started this design with. It was let's create some really cool art pieces that maybe we could sell or display as a gallery setup at Comic-Con. And then it evolved into, let's make this whole thing into a comic book, man. These pieces are starting to really tell me a story here. You know, I was just creating, okay, let's just create some cool stuff. Let's make some moments, because he's doing these ciphers. So like in that picture that you had showed, all the people around him, those are the people that he got together in one spot on a one train in New York City. He got over 300 art videographers, photographers, singers, rappers, writers, dancers, violinists, you know, people who play instruments in general. He got all these people in one spot to make content, to make something new, and no one got in a fight. It was all peaceful. It was all love. All these people were able to come together and do something special. So for me, I wanted to highlight that. So that's what those pieces were. It was literally pieces within that cipher. So I wanted to show that he's like a superhero in real life. If people don't really know it yet, you know what I'm saying? So maybe these pieces will kind of tell that story, that like, dude, you got like a real life superhero standing next to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it started. And then it kind of evolved to just like talks of like, we should make this a whole comic book. Let's you know, I'm kind of the one that has to make it happen in that sense, because he's working on what he's working on. He's not a comic creator. I'm turning him into a comic creator, because he kind of is creating this comic book in real life. So that's why it's based around documenting what he's doing. And because he's a documenter, he actually literally shoots, you know, film for a living. It's easier to create stuff now because he's got so much reference material. The
Right.
people around him have so much reference material. The statues are created by my dad, like the one behind me there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, explain that one.
I'm very much in the way of that. I will. So the statues my dad's creating, and these are going to be official Comic-Con LA props for the 2023 Comic-Con LA. So these are going to be the showcase pieces that kind of, you know, allow me to tell the story of these characters alongside with the big canvas prints of the artwork. It's going to look real dope. So Z, you know, all the kids will be able to take pictures with Z. Everyone will be able to interact. And that's why I'm on here today too, is to also, you know, to try to promote these for sale. But the thing is that you have to be okay with it being till January of next year for me to ship it out to you, because I need to use this for Comic-Con for the 3-day event. But after that event, if you had purchased it, it's, you know, I'm going to ship it out to you. You're going to get a bunch of artwork with it. So it's really like you're a part of the journey. That's why also too, it's not, I'm painting it today. So I still wanted to bring it up here unpainted, so you could just see that it's in the process of being created, just taking on the journey. But as far as that character there, that's Phi. Now Phi is legitimately fire. You know what I'm saying? So she's actually not like a firebender, but like her powers come from within, and that's why she only has, as you can see, one eye on her mask because it's her third eye, and so that's where her powers come from. And I'll bring it over here. It's big, so I just don't want to mess it up. All right, it's a big. So
Yeah, that is a huge piece.
So all of that is her hair. The main bulk of the piece, that's her actual hair. And so this character is a character that was designed and created by an artist named Rudy Fate. My friend Rue, who I met online a couple years ago, and we just been going back and forth as artist to artist, you know what I'm saying? Just basically showcasing how dope each other are, because we resonate in that way. We resonate in who we are as artists, like what we bring. So she actually created that in a design class. So it was just a part of like, I think like a lesson, you know, in design class or something like that for like fashion, because she's a fashion designer, the Rudy Fate. She's a fashion designer, just did New York Fashion Week last weekend, and is just an amazing creative who really is versatile in everything. She's a model herself. She's a poet, a writer, a singer. You know, she really a producer. She really is an everythinger. So she designed this character named Phi, Fye, and I hit her up immediately because she posted on her page this rough draft of a sketch, and I go, "What are we doing? Why are we not creating this as a comic book? Like, what's going on here?" And she was like, "Let's get it," you know. And that was at the top of the year in February. This was, I think, February, and I think that was February, and then Z was not yet Z. It was supposed to be for something else. You kind of know a little bit about that. It's supposed to be for something else, but I realized I was creating something that was me, and I was putting it into something that doesn't really deserve that. And so it was this like kind of, these two characters helped me create Z as Z. They helped me realize like, oh no, Z is me, you know, and that's when I decided to call him Z. And so I put all this energy into this character that's this astronaut, and I was putting all this energy into these, and all three of them felt right as I was drawing them. All three of them felt good, but I felt still like I hadn't put anything into me. I'm going, what's wrong with me? Why do I still feel like I don't have me yet? You know, damn, like I'm still doing the same thing, pouring my cup into other people and not giving myself what's needed to thrive. And then what I was looking for was right in front of me. You know what I mean? So that's a part of like where you came into play of all of this. Is it was like your logo, your new logo. It's like everything that was on that logo was like a piece of me, you know? So it just felt like, dude, you're in the right spot. Just keep going, you know?
I know I need to change. Like, you changed it out and put Z up in my hand, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of need to change that out and put Z in my hand.
Oh yeah, right. I know you like that. Huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I'll send you that. I'll send you that. As a graphic, I'll send it to you. But a side note, right? That's what it kind of felt like. Was I dropped the buddies. The buddies did its thing. It had its moment, and it was really beautiful because I now have.
So these are now limited edition pieces then.
Correct. Yeah, they really are, because my wife Ariana. See, now that's the thing about all this. It was awesome. Is we all had everyone had a life-changing situation, you know, whether it was traumatic or if it was just regular, like having to deal with life, or I need to make a decision on being different in some aspect. And for her, she was always, you know, my right hand man with these pop-up shops. But because I'm not trying to do as many pop-up shops as last year, because I don't want to do that. I want to do Comic Cons. I stopped scheduling stuff. We stopped kind of putting things together in that way. And there was kind of this restlessness of like, for her, of what am I going to do? You know, like, you know, because she won't do what I'm doing throughout the day, which is not a knock at anything. It's that she's not going to work that in what I'm working. And I'm good at talking to a lot of people, trying to reach out to strangers to make an opportunity happen. She's not really that person. Like, she's like, she really shouldn't be bothered by anybody. She's like, it's like Alex Ross. Like, Alex Ross doesn't have to talk to nobody. He's got representatives. He doesn't have to go to Comic-Con. He hasn't gone to Comic-Con in like 10 years. He doesn't have to. He's got a big gallery at Comic-Con. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He sells out hundreds, probably thousands of his prints and originals. So that's who she is to me. And so her transition into tattoos ended up being her thing. And she's really, really dope at it. So she's really, really amazing at tattooing. She's at a tattoo convention right now. So she's been thriving in that. And that kind of allowed me to kind of open up a little bit more with already what I was doing, but now start applying it. I have this vision, and sometimes I say the whole vision or I feel the whole vision before it happens. And then I realize as time goes by, I have to get it done. And so my dad, you know, he's been coming with these statues, been just every time I go to the studio to visit him, it's something new. It looks different. It's like, whoa, we went from this to this. This is crazy. I'm literally looking at these characters, you know, in live time in front of me. So they're more real. None of these characters have an actual book to them. But by 2024, you're going to know this character. So by the time that first book comes out, it's going to be almost like rewarding, because it's not, oh, I lost interest in what he was doing. No, I'm going to make it interesting all the time. It's the how I show the journey that makes it super interesting for the people that are looking and watching. I'm not trying to expect you to like it is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has been around forever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not expecting that, but what I am trying to get people into is the inspiration behind it. I'm not supposed to have these yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not supposed to have like some really nice statues of my comic characters yet that aren't 3D printed or aren't, you know.
Look, your two biggest fans are here. Mama J that has one in every color, and now Dead Zone's here. He just put out the video. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I have
a video.
I have, and it's absolutely amazing, and it made my whole fucking day when I saw it. Yeah, and welcome in, Mama J. Much love. So yeah, and that's the point. Like, you saw like the buddies, right? Like, the buddies were this moment. They're not gonna go away, because I'll show you some behind the scenes stuff for you as well. But we have the 2-pound buddies coming, and it's coming with a limited edition backpack. Like, I can't wait for you guys to see it, but this is gonna be really what it was about. So yeah, my wife can't sculpt those buddies anymore. I only
tattoos, yeah.
I have to figure out how to put that product out. But the fact is that I got to have the moment with all the people that I got to have, whether that was 30 customers, which is about 30 customers for the buddies, but all 30 of those individuals, we have a connection for that as a moment. You know what I'm saying? So it was like this really special thing, because you guys said, hey, I'm gonna support you while you drop this, and this is you're debuting this. I can't wait to see where this goes. And
but the moment that your first artwork comes out at Image, this is a grail. This instantly becomes a grail.
Literally assets. And that's what I'm saying. It's actually what I'm trying to, you know, tell the individuals that support me is, without trying to like make it sound like NFTs. You know, they always try to make NFTs sound like it's gonna generational wealth. You know, it's what's that called? As it builds, you know, it's like an investment.
Well,
It's
the
like
only NFTs I buy are the Funko ones because I try and get the packs to get the redeemable Funko
Yeah.
Pops.
right, and that's what I'm saying. For me, it's more of like, you know, this isn't a spectator's market. This is this was a real life like dude. You know what I mean? Because like if I pass and I leave this place, like the whole point was I'm a memory. You know what I mean? Like I'm a memory through that little guy. You know, and that and not only that because it was a cool product. No, like I was there. I got to meet him through whatever, if it was through this or in real life, and I remember that moment, and that's what it is. So for me, it's like that, to be able to have that with people before the world has it. That's everything to me because, you know, everyone always tells me, and it's a compliment, but I always like try to like remind them like, nah, bro, I'm not gonna be like that. But I also don't say it because, you know, how many people go against that? But they always go, don't forget me when you're famous. And it's like, what are you talking about? You are a direct reason as to why I got to this. You're on my life path. You know what I'm saying? You're not the reason, you know, like I had to fucking not, you know, realistically kill myself or, you know, die in a car accident. I gotta be in survival mode at all times. But you're the reasons that I even got here. So why would I forget about that? Like this is a part of the story. Unless someone does me wrong, you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
it's like that's the only time I want to forget about people. It's like, you know, I just never want to think about you again. You know, that type of thing. So when people say that, it's a beautiful thing, but I also kind of like, man, like how could you ever think I could? You know what I mean? Are you talking to me right now? Like, do you feel like I would forget about you? Because, dude, like, I don't even care about fame. I don't care about money. Like, the only reason money comes around is because I
You
want
gotta pay
to
bills.
pay my mom's bills before I pay my bills. Like, that's even where it comes into play is like, I'm so like a Neanderthal in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Of
There's something I need to know about. He said someone might join us at the next Tucson Comic Con.
So I'm hoping that pans out. I would love to be able to come out. I'm gonna check out the dates for the Arizona Comic Con. But he's gonna try to allow me to be, you know, in a section for that Comic Con Dead Zone. So he's working on that. I hope it can be, and I hope I can make it out there. That's the main thing. But by that time period, I feel real good about it. So yeah, no, it's gonna be cool. And that's also the thing I've been doing too, is just reaching out more and more as the shows go on, because the tour is going, and that's something I think we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, explain the tour because I'm trying to get to like what's going on October 28th.
Yeah, so October 28th, the tour is it's the Xander 6 Comics tour. I did a tour last year. And it was a 250 pop-up show tour. It was the G Code Design Tour. That was the company name last year before I made the change to my name, because it just that was almost like the old version of me. It was an idea that I never let go of because I felt like if I let go, then the dream dies. But the reality is that I needed to make the identity of my brand me. And G Code Designs was no longer that. So the new tour was actually to introduce the name Xander 6 Comics. I know you know me for that because I've had the page since I think November.
Yeah.
But I had a whole change of it. Nothing, no identity change, but it was just more of like, I need to start making content. And so the only way I'm going to do that is if I get rid of what was before and do this now. So
I was gonna look. I was gonna see, when were you first on?
for Instagram,
No, with me. I'm gonna try and go back and look and see when it was the first time that you were on with me.
or January, either December of last year or the top of the top this year. Because I was promoting a raffle or something like that, and I was using the Figure X interview as a base for an audience, because he was the first person that I did an interview with that actually posted the interview with me. And so I got his audience, and so I tapped into that audience that liked the interview. So it has to be December of last year or January. And that came about because of that, me reaching out for the raffle. But then that's also how I am too, is when I do my research, because everything matters. If you're not a bot, you're probably a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, you did the buddies night 4 months ago.
Yeah. Because we talked about hot sauce. We met through Sunfire as far as the show.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for, because I know that Hot Sauce and Heroes, that was 8 months ago. Yep. So we've almost known each other a year. Crazy.
So yeah, insane. And that's what I'm saying is the tour is actually now it's turning into what it was supposed to always be. And what that is artists and hardworking individuals who are just trying to make something of their lives and they have a dream, getting together with those and showing and making a platform for that to thrive. So that's what it's about. That's why on that post that I did for this flyer here, it was important, because like I said, it's all about the people that are on this flyer. It's not about me. It's about all the individuals you see here. You know what I'm saying? So I have like 9 artists, showcasing inside one store, one shopping experience with 9 artists' work. It's a big store, and I got 2 clothing brands that I met out there while doing vending. I got so many sponsors to help me promote for this show, like Bumpbox SoCal, Evolution Toys, and these are all individuals that I met in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some artists are actually people that I outreach to. Like I have a comic publisher that was referred to me. He's got I want to say over 20 characters, all copyrighted. He self-publishes. He owns all of it. So he's gonna be a feature there at the event as well. So not only artists but comic publishers. I have Figure X, as far as toys and toy making. I got the toy world there, but the creative side of it, not just having cool collectibles. It's like the creators right there, so you get to talk to these individuals. And so I'm creating my own Comic-Con vibe with this tour, and this show is the first show where I've actually been able to bring everyone together. I have SoCal Comics sponsoring the event. They're the reason I can actually have this event go on. So they're sponsoring the event. And that allows me to build a venue for a street fair Comic-Con. And so I'm mixing in that street fair vibe that I've been a part of for years, with the food and the funness of, an event and making an event. So music. So we're just going to have a really fun party at this event, and everyone's going to be there with the ability to sell their artwork in a store format and not just like a little booth with, where they're behind the table. A couple of them will be like that because it's going to be a Comic-Con style, situation. So like the publisher for the comic book, that would be more comfortable for him to have his booth be like how Comic-Con. So, I'm just trying to mix in both those worlds. So I want them to have the Comic-Con vibe and then a gift shop vibe. They're going to be debuted. They're going to be, you know, everyone from the city is going to be introduced to these characters, all of them to Z. And it's just beautiful because this is the road to Comic-Con LA. That's what this tour really is. That's the subtitle to this tour. It's the Zaner 6 Comics Tour, Road to Comic-Con LA. And that's the reason why it's the Road to Comic-Con LA, not because it's the last show of the year, even though it will be, or most likely will be. It's because it's my first Comic-Con that I'm actually attending with my full store and booth. And all these concepts that I've put together for the last 6 years, I'm going to be able to apply to this Comic-Con LA. So that's why it's the Road to Comic-Con LA. And so January 28th is that flyer right there.
October 28th.
The flyers just came in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to be passing those out. I'm actually documenting that as well. So I'll be making some cool content behind, you know, me passing out flyers and going to different businesses and, you know, just getting it all documented so that people could see the work behind it as well, for online, so that could kind of maybe entice people to want to come out to the show because they saw the hustle. But regardless, October 28th, it's going to be at the very end of October, which is beautiful because it leads us right into November, December. I have a show like this in November. It's going to be at the Hops Anonymous Brewery. So there will be beer and just a really fun vibe, and it'll go into the nighttime at that one. That one's going to be a comic book event as well. They're all going to be comic book events. And I have some big artists that are potentially going to be a part of it that have worked for Batman, Daredevil. This event, and I guess I'll name drop it for this event here. We have Marvel's The Punisher actor Jason R. Moore. He's an individual, one of the actors inside that TV show for Marvel. And so he's actually a comic book publisher as well. And I met him at Comic-Con in San Diego this year. And so he's an actor, comic producer, publisher, and it's called A Prayer for the Hunted. And so I have him as a special guest. He's going to be there passing out free signed comics of his comic. And yeah, it's just going to be really dope. I have 2 podcasts that are going to be there doing live shows. They're in their own booths at the event. They're going to be asking all of the artists segment questions and different things like that. So it's going to just be really fun overall. It's going to have that convention vibe to it, but street fair because it's outside. It's, you know, it's booths, it's canopies. But you're going to feel like you just walked into this world of comic books and collector's items. And it was mixed in with food and music and fun. And, you know, I also have a lot of model artwork, and a lot of the models that I'm working with, they're going to be coming out as special guests because I'm going to be displaying this artwork out there. So they're going to be special guests. So we're going to have, you know, just a really cool scene of individuals from models to, you know, lack of a better term, like influencers and content creators, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, lack of a better term because I don't want to use those keywords as something other than the sense that it's just going to be lively, you know? And it's going to be a group of people that you didn't think would be in comic books, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to really learn that too, especially this year. There's a lot of young people that are into hip shit that are really into like Spawn. Like there's a lot of like 14-year-old girls that are super into Spawn that, you know, like they also like Dior, you know what I'm saying? Like they also like their Gucci bag, but like they love Spawn. It's kind of weird because we're in this new era, but you're like the diamond in the rough. You were the one before. You know, like you were like the one of the only ones alongside with, you know, I'm sure a community of people, but now it's like cool, you know what I mean? To like all this stuff. And that's how I felt too. Like all the stuff I did beforehand, it wasn't cool to like it, but I did anyways, and now it's the shit. And so, so there's that going on right now, and so that's the type of energy I'm bringing to this. Is like that's why it's a comic tour. It's not just an event. This is a tour. You guys are coming on to my tour. Come on to the shows. Come out to every show. See how it's going to get bigger, better every time. Be a part of this journey. I want people to fly out to these shows eventually. By 2024, I want people to drive out from Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to come out from Arizona. Like, that's how big I want to make it. And this is going to lead us into, like, what I did here, this roster right here, this will grow bigger. And so that roster that's helping me make this show an event, they're going to be the same type of roster that I take into Comic-Con San Diego, all the Comic-Cons in the future. I'm going to be able to bring a world, instead of being a featured artist or an artist there in Artist Alley, no, I'm going to be away from Artist Alley in the real spot, and I'm going to have my own thing. I'm going to have a pyramid in the middle of Comic-Con. You know what I'm saying? We put that together through a team of people, a team of artists that helped me get this going. And that's what comics is about. It's about the collaborative aspect of it all. So I'm bringing artists that aren't even comic artists together into the world of comic books. Who knows what's about to happen? Right. I have an artist who makes handmade rugs. I'm going to start putting out comic covers as rugs. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you can make anything happen. I have a potential cover artist for next year's when I drop the comic book for Z, the official book. I have a potential artist who does iconic cover art for music artists right now, and he's like my age or just a couple years older than me, and he's known in the music world, but his art is amazing. It's crazy. I'm not gonna name drop anyone now because it's not for sure, but just even that, to be able to have a potential iconic cover art that is attached to the music world because people know these covers from these albums, that's exciting to me because that's what like comic books is kind of all about. That's kind of like why McFarlane's super dope. Is like he kind of like gets artists from everywhere to do covers and to do, to get these opportunities to kind of build up their portfolio. So for me, it's like I want to be one of the ones that took artists from whole different other lands. Like I said, this is a fashion designer. Phi, that's a fashion designer. I'm gonna mix fashion with comic books. Best believe it. You know what I mean? So it's just, even though it's all always been that and it's all one and the same, I'm not gonna innovate anything. I'm not gonna create anything as far as like concept and shit. I'm just bringing all the aspects of what I love and I'm making it into one big pot. And I'm hoping that it makes a big effect, because I think it's cool when you go to like a convention and you meet the artist, and it's cool when they're behind the table and they got their sign displayed and it says their name and it shows the piece that they did or whatever. And then there's their books, all kind of on the table, ready for them to sign it. And depending on how depending on how well known you are, it's a different effect. You know what I'm saying? So some people will line up, some people will crowd up, some people just get passed up. You know what I mean? Some people just get passed up at those types of booths. For me, at whatever level I get into Comic-Con, my booth will never be a booth where I'm just sitting behind the table with my comic books there and my character on a big splash behind me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just can't ever envision myself doing it. And so for me, it's welcome to my world. Step into my world. Let me show you what this is all about. Not wait till I'm well known and working on Batman to be able to have a Batman cover, and sell one of the free comics they gave me. No, I'm going to sell my own comic books, my own product. I'm going to bring hundreds of artists into this thing to become a platform as an entry level into comics. So in a way, it's kind of like I was forced to do it myself. And by the time I get the jobs that I dreamt of, I will have leverage of my own world to, like, hey man, I can't go and do that unless I get this because I got all this. You know what I mean? Like, and all this could become a hit TV Netflix show, just depending on how we animate it, depending on who.
Right.
And I'm just the type of person that's not afraid to reach out to people in the game. Like since Comic-Con San Diego, I've talked to a lot of comic book artists or writers, and via phone calls, just asking advice. And a lot of these guys have worked for Superman, Batman, but to them it's just another job. And for me, I feel like I'm gonna be one of the ones that shows how much of a leverage that is. This job that they got. This is like crazy leverage. You can do some insane things because you did Batman.
Right.
If I did Batman, best believe I would know how to like use that. You know what I mean? I haven't done Batman yet, and I know how to use my own creations to tap in with my community. So imagine if I did Batman, I'd be like 1,000 times ahead. At least I feel that way. I have no idea. See, that's the thing. I also am coming from the school of not knowing, and I'm okay with that. I'm not in the game yet. I talked to McFarlane. Yeah, I had a legend, one of the only legends I really fucking care about in that sense, tell me I might be the next one. And I told him to his face, I am. And it didn't sound egotistical. It didn't sound wild or like I was talking out my neck.
You believe in yourself, and that's what you have to do.
Exactly. So that's what these characters are. They represent going for it and doing it. Because they're based off of artists, I think that the power behind them is way stronger than if this was just a character and he was just a superhero who had these powers where he can manipulate liquid or however you want to call it, energy. It's not that. He is a real life artist in real life New York City. By the way, where hip hop and comic books were created. So, he is the essence of this. I think that's why this character is going to be such a hit smash, because he's literally the essence of two raw genres that came from the Depression of America, from the war and everything else. That's where Marvel and DC, they thrived off of those because of wartime and depression. And hip hop thrived off of the rawness of what was going on in the inner city and around the world. It translated, you know what I'm saying? Because people were mistreated in certain groups of race and kinds of people. So it's, it started through the dance and the graffiti and it ended up becoming emceeing and rapping. And, so these things that are energy that exist in life, they were all multiple different things from the past. So comic books and hip hop to me are the same thing, because that energy of creating something from nothing is what all of it's about. So this character, that character Z, represents that. It represents artists expressing to the fullest max that they possibly can. And I think that that's what my difference in comic books will be, is because I didn't just create heroes or characters that were cool. We created ourselves and we put it in there. Like how Spawn is Todd McFarlane, but there's a degree of separation that can kind of allow you that this is still only Spawn. There will not be that degree of separation with these characters. You're going to know this was an artist in real life. That's what was cool about this. So that's what it is. That's what the tour represents too. It's just the expressing of these things. I've been in the studio a lot lately, and I've been kind of honing in on when to do a show and when not to do a show, and so getting these things ready for these shows has been really fun.
So those will be on display at the event on the 28th.
Oh yes, most definitely. So this is going to be debuted at that show, as well as actually Fi was debuted at the first show, and that was cool because the artist Rudy came out to talk about the character, to really kind of just be a part of being a creative and having a place where you can just come and sit down. You don't have to worry about anything and really do anything. You don't have to sell anything. You can just sit down and kind of have people go, wow, this is based off of you. Wow, you created this. Wow, this is awesome. So I gave her that space to do that. And I think it really showed up well for Phi because people just really loved the statue. They loved the drawings around the statue. And they loved that my dad was there. They loved that he built it. And so that's been fun for me too, is the fact that my dad's been a part of these events and just this energy of it, like taking, going and doing Comic-Con with me. I could have done it alone, but it was better to have my pops there because he's the artist. You know what I'm saying? He's the reason I'm an artist. My mom's the businesswoman. She's the reason I do business. So, to have them be a part whenever they can. Like my mom helped me get these flyers, printed up because she's in marketing, she's in that business. So for them at any time to be a part of these things, it's a direct correlation to what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to showcase where I come from and give you everything I can and then leave. I just can't wait to leave. You know what I mean? Like I will be gone one day, and that's such a beautiful thing for someone like me who wants to put it all out here. Like, once this is done, and then I go outside and I look at the stars, I might feel like I'm satisfied with life. I could die today. You know what I mean? I won't.
Right.
I'll be all right. You know what I mean? But I'll feel good about what I've done. Like finishing this, going to see the stars, drink my water. Man, I had a good day today. Like, I had an amazing interview, had an amazing time to be able to talk about some awesome things that have been going on in my life. Like, man, I feel good today. Like what an excellent day to just possibly be my last day. That's beautiful, So I just want that to be the essence of what I'm doing, is that you just don't know like how long you're here. So just go for it, man.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to wait for Marvel and DC to hit me up because I don't even send anything out to them. I don't even send anything out to Image. I have nothing to send out to anybody right now. I'm in the middle of working on stuff. So for me, it's like, why would I beat myself up about that? Because it's not my time to work in the industry in that way. Well, guess what is your time? To do this, to go put it out there. The universe is saying, hey, you get to put up your own show. You're putting it together. It's going to actually happen. Wow. So that's your time, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, that's who you are. That's where you're at. I, of course, want to work on Spawn right now. And after a week later from Comic-Con, I had that realization of like, wow, he really didn't give me the job. You know what I mean? He really told me that my style and my colors are not at all what they're looking for Spawn. But he also said, then you go, so what was the good thing then? He told you that your artwork is dope. He told you that your inking is amazing. He said a lot of good things, but because it's a week later and you don't have the job and you got to figure out what you're going to do, you're thinking about the negative, so it's kind of like that. You kind of roll with the go, with the roller coaster of life. And for me, instead of the downs being so down, I'm just trying to make it like even, you know what I mean? Because there's always going to be downs. There's always going to be ups, and they're going to go and fluctuate. It's never just going to be up. And when it is, you're probably just going to be scared the whole time for the down, so you're not really enjoying the up. And I'd rather just be steady as it happens. So that's what I'm preparing for and getting ready for. These characters and all the people that have helped me put things together, like all the people on this flyer and the artists that are involved, like this, even my wife with the buddies. And I know that she can't do them anymore, but it's okay because like all the things that you needed at the time you needed it, it came about and you didn't have to do anything, bro. I'm so used to having to make everything to make it happen that there's other things that are being made right here. And now I get to just show up and look at my character in the face and go, whoa, you're right here, dude. I didn't have to make you. So I've been in that. I've been enjoying that lately. And that's what this tour is all about. I have 1, 2, 3 shows on the schedule for the tour. I plan on 4 shows for the tour. I plan on trying to add another 3 so that we can make so we can make about 7 or 8 shows left for this year. But it's real focused in shows. LA Comic Con is a 3-day event, so that's going to be a really big pull, and it's going to be a lot.
When is that?
What was that?
When's LA Comic Con?
That one's December 1st to the 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's December 1st to the 3rd, LA Convention Center, or Anaheim Convention Center. And I'm grateful because I wanted to do less shows, and I wanted each show to be powerful. And HopCon, like I mentioned earlier from Hops Anonymous, they did a comic book show, and that's what started the Xander 6 tour. It felt right to start calling it that, because I wanted to call it that when I was doing all the pop-up shows beforehand in the beginning of the year to May. But I just felt like I'm not doing a tour right now. I'm fucking working. And that sucks. Like, I hate having to like struggle in this. Like these street fairs are doing nothing. This pop-up shop is doing nothing for me right now. When am I going to get back to Comic-Con? How can Comic-Con LA be the height of what I'm doing, but I'm doing fucking street events, you know? So it just was like a frustrated aspect of it. And then HopCon opened my mind up because it was so inviting. They all the people from Hops Anonymous welcomed me in very kindly. And the guy who threw it invited me to do the next show in a month. He said, this one was so good, let's do another one. And he said, can you help me? And so there was a little bit more of like, I was able to help kind of promote it. And I brought 3 vendors who are artists, and I stacked us all right next to each other. And it was this whole vibe. And I was like, damn, dude, like I really got people to like out here to be right next to me. And we made this vibe happen. I had a henna tattoo artist and a rug maker. And it was just a vibe, you know, like all the people who were getting henna tattoos, all the people who were waiting for their kids, they came to our store. You know, they bought stuff while their kids were getting henna tattoos. And it just was like this really cool experience. And because of that, everything after that became comic books. It became comic book related, and I was really excited and grateful for that. And it was like time to start really bringing out my comic book art, even the stuff that isn't digitized yet and ready for product. It was like, no, take out the originals and just showcase the shit. Showcase people what you can do. And so, yeah. Now, fast forwarding into, I want to say just 2 months later, I want to say about 2 months later now, since Comic-Con San Diego, maybe about a month and a half. See, so much time didn't go by, but it felt like it did because I've been working since. I've been like really focused. I've been talking to a lot of local businesses, comic book shops. I've been trying to work with dispensaries so that the buddies can have some space. I've been really trying to get venues to open up for me to do my show. Like I will bring, for anyone who's saying this, or I will bring an event to your venue. You don't have to worry about getting food or getting artists to do this. I don't want that. I just need a place to do it. I need a place to do it. I will show up with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And just give me your place to do it, and I promise shit will go down. So like with these, I have the first box of 2,500 flyers. I'm going to pass these all out to the local businesses in the neighboring area, all the hot spots. I'm going to go to the malls. I'm going to pass out to people individually. I'm going to go to the beach side, pass out to them individually. I'm going to get rid of them in one day. I'm going to go all the businesses I need to go to leave a stack. People that I know to that I can connect with, leave a stack here. And then 2 weeks out from the actual show, I'm doing another 2,500, going to all the malls, all the hot spots, and I'm promoting the show. I want at least 1,000, 2,000 people to show up. I want it to be so many people that they can't be there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like I want there to be so many people that the businesses that are down the way from the comic book shop are thriving too, because they're going to the local brewery spot, this local restaurant here, like, because there's just so many people. It's like, what the hell? So that's the energy I'm trying to bring to it. Off the rip, I mean, I did my first show in September 1st, at a little coffee shop called Six Grottos Coffee Shop, and over 100 people showed up to that. And that was me just sending out my flyer. I sent it twice throughout the month out to everybody in my following. You know, I reached out to everyone that I know personally, like, hey, please show up to this, like, you know, come out, da 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 da. And over 100 people showed up from the community, and also from the people. Half the people were people that I invited, and that was in a little coffee shop. And this is way bigger than that.
And you've got a lot more, a lot more people involved in it this time.
Yes.
Like if you look at the first flyer versus this one, there's a lot more involved in it.
Yeah, this one's like, I have like businesses that are sponsoring it. So SoCal Comics, Evolution Toys, like Hops Anonymous, all these places are helping me promote the show digitally. And then again, physically, because I decided to invest some money into the flyers, I can physically put the energy out there, put them into all these businesses, the sponsors that have stores or anything like that. And now it's kind of like, you know, well, let's see what happens. But also, I'm going to make sure that this is huge. And a big part of it is, too, again, like why I mentioned the Six Grottos one, September 1st, was because everyone who was there that helped me brought somebody. They brought some people. So the fact that just over 100 people showed up through that entire show was kind of crazy, because it was only a 3-hour event. It was only a 3-hour time slot, and 100 people showed up. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, with as many people as I have a part of this show, off the rip, like 200, 300 people are coming. Not just because it's guaranteed, but that's just like data analysis. So just that alone kind of makes me feel good about, wow, this is going to be bigger. But I'm also not worried or scared to go and promote it and make it as big as possible. If I have to get more than 5,000 flyers because I should, then I'm going to do it. But I'm the one that has to pass them out. I'm the one that's going to be out there doing it. And so the success of this show will, when I see it happen in real life, I will then be ready for Comic-Con for next year, as far as mentally. Because I have a plan for when I show up to Comic-Con San Diego for the first time. That's going to be my debut. And you guys are a huge part of that. Everyone who supported, everyone who's brought me up onto these platforms to talk, you know what I mean, is like, this is a huge reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You guys buying my toys made me feel like a toy designer, made me feel like a toy artist. And it allowed me to have something I've been looking for a long time. And that also gave me the confidence to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do comic books. I'm not going to just draw in comic style. I'm going to do comic books. And so without you guys, I wouldn't have any of this. I'd just be doing what I was doing. And I'm sure I could be working on that and making it do something. But it was a go nowhere business, because my business ultimately ended up being famous people's faces. And I didn't mean it to be that, because I didn't start off it like that. I started off drawing my inspirations. People reached out about, I want to get that. Okay, cool. Like, let me send you a canvas print. Then it turned into, let me get inventory throughout the couple years after. Let me get some inventory. Let me, draw more of these individuals, and let's see where it goes. And what I realized, because I don't draw popular people, all popular people, I only draw the people I listen to in my life and I've experienced in my life. I realized I capped myself at a certain amount of success. And I capped myself really at the fact that I can't go higher up in the business of famous people unless I'm in the business of licensing famous faces and likeness. And I'm not, and I don't want to be. And that's a weird game that I really don't want to play. When it comes down to like a commission, like Mama J did an Aussie, that's what I want to do it for. Like that's the type of thing I want to do, is like, yeah, I'll draw your favorite artist and it'll be your custom piece. And so, I'm not against what I had done before. I'm just over it and I'm on this new phase, and this new phase looks so colorful, it looks so dope. It looks more like who I am on the inside. And I don't know, I'm happier being this version of, because when I met you, I was out of it, but I was also in the middle of, that was the last 5 years of my life, so I hadn't had enough to position myself into comics, and you saying, hey, I like that you put this little character on this hot sauce. Character became bigger than the hot sauce. And that was the telling sign that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Maybe this isn't the end goal right here, this hot sauce, but the fact that my characters for the hot sauce is being received so well. And when you told me that day that each piece looks like a different artist did it, I had realized,
Absolutely.
I'm here, like, do this, keep going, don't stop. You gave me a space to feel like I'm about to be in comic books, I'm about to be in toys, I'm about to be in this world. And I think that's why, I say it every time I'm on here, like, thank you, because without knowing what you did, I know this is your show and this is what you just want to do. You want to have fun and tap in with the community, but you don't even realize how much you opened up for an artist to feel like they're really in the game. And that's the thing, is like, that's why, if to ask your permission too, is I was asking some of the artists if they're comfortable with doing some episodes, so that maybe every week we can give you some new content with a new artist to talk about their story. I have artists that are willing to do that. So
Absolutely. Anytime. And I love meeting new people. The vibe that you and I have had for almost a year now has been excellent. And talking to you, and like, even if I don't talk to you for a couple of weeks, like, we pick right back up, like, no time's it lapsed. But it's so fun to, like, watch your posts and all the things that you've been doing. And so absolutely, if anybody wants to come on, that we have the type of people that are looking for this stuff. I have the whole comic book community. I would put it out to some of my friends that are in the comic book industry, or selling comics and artists and stuff like that. And I mean, even if it was a round table, if there was a couple of them wanted to come on and just talk about their experiences and things that are highs and lows and everything, that would be awesome.
that'd be awesome. I would love to do that. And I'll coordinate those types of things. And that's also a part of, this new phase that I'm in, is I was trying to do that in the beginning as we tried, with some of the other individuals. But it's like, I'm now in a place where I actually can make it so, and more comfortable in making it happen, because they will come out here and do that. They will promote themselves. And I would love to make, the tour like you're an official sponsor for the tour. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you aren't going to be there in person, but you'll be there in spirit, also through promotion, because automatically you're promoting this show right now. So I'd rather make you a sponsor and put you on the flyer, make your own flyer, like how I did with the episode. And just kind of like keep building that. So now we have a platform to possibly talk about the next thing that, let's just say, my friend Grace Tom, who's a photographer, amazing photographer, she's ill, and she literally, like, she quit art school to become a full-time, or film school to become a full-time photographer. So she has a story to tell. Like, it would be so amazing for people like them to come up on here and tell their story, outside of me even being in it. I would love to be a part of each one, but of course, because I feel like, again, to make it about the tour, to make it about this Xander 6 tour, it would just be super dope. So that was an idea that I was thinking about. I had asked a couple of the artists, like, yo, would you guys be comfortable? Because you don't have to be next to me to do this interview. It's all remote, and it's live on YouTube. So just let me know. And everyone was just like, yeah, dude, I would love to do something like that if she's down. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to just reach out about it, see what we can do, because I just feel like we met each other in a real way through social media, through the artwork though. That's what was beautiful about it. It was through the, it makes sense like how we got to here. That's what I like about it. And I think that we're supposed to do something with what we do on like a regular, not necessarily like, oh, I'm on this show, like, and I co-host the show. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, I know how to grab talent, amazing talent that could tell a story, that could give a new insight on a different artist, and your community can come in and see what that's about. I just feel like that network through what we can do would be really like epic and really game changing, because
And I miss doing interviews because that's kind of how it all started when it was a completely different channel. But there were a lot of interviews, and it was people within the community and getting to know them better, and that format did very, very well. You saw how many views we got when you were on with the hot sauce, and how many you came back with the buddies and things like that. And so I absolutely want to talk to you about that. It would be amazing to do. I mean, I know that you got to focus on, this October 28th show that's coming up right now. It's only a couple of weeks out, and I completely understand that. I'm going to say that my dog is starting to drive me nuts. And do you have to go out or something?
oh, the Bubba.
Yeah, she's starting to like fidget, and then she goes out, and then she comes back in, and then she goes out, and then she wants to get in my lap and
No
everything
worries.
else.
No worries.
So we'll probably wrap it up so I can go eat some dinner or two. But if you guys are in the Southern California area, please check out Xander's show. It's October 28th, and what is it, from 7 to 5? Is that what it says?
Oh, it's actually 10 to 5.
10 to 5. Okay.
I accidentally put the load in time for the artists and the vendors, so that's the time we'll technically all be there. So the flyers are already printed with the wrong time, but it is 10 to 5, and
10 to 5. Okay.
I will write the right time on the back there. So,
and I'll put this up on my page, and any of you guys that are fans of Xander and everything else, please make sure that you help promote this as well. We want to keep him growing. Brother, I can't wait to see what these next steps are. I can't wait to see these characters and these statues evolve. I did scroll it earlier to reach out to Xander 6 comics with an X in the end, on Instagram if you are interested in any of these products. Like you said, he's going to be using it until about January. But after that point, he's willing to ship them out to you guys. So if you want an original piece of history, reach out to him. And brother, thank you so much. I always get a bunch of energy after I'm on with you, and think about things and turn things around. I'm getting back into the mindset now that it's starting to get colder here, and it's not so much fun to be outside anymore, that I'm going to get a lot, back on YouTube a lot more now that I've got a more regular schedule and I know where my life's heading. I'm going to be doing this a lot more. So yeah, we'll keep collabing, dude. And I don't want anything out of you. All I want to do is see you succeed. And so I love you. Thanks for coming on tonight, man. I really do appreciate it.
I love you, family.
and-
Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem. And I really am sorry. Look at her. She's like,
Oh,
"Dude,
yeah.
I'm done."
I'll get her outside. No, I appreciate you. I'm just gonna say goodbye, and as everyone come to the show, and yeah, me and you will talk about more guests and stuff. And I would love to just
Solid.
rejuvenate, what you started.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a great weekend. And Sunday, make sure you're watching that Lions Seahawks game, because Mary and I have that little bet going on. So everybody have a great night, and thank you so much.